Okay, you're live.
Hey, everybody. Oh, my goodness. It's been a whirlwind few weeks for us. Johnny and I have been at home working with our producer from Brazil on a really exciting docuseries that we cannot wait to launch later this year. I know you've been hearing us talk about it for a while, but we got done with that. And then very quickly, we traveled to Bend, Oregon, and some of you are joining us live here for the weekend. Some of you are joining us live digitally, and some of you haven't made a decision. And so we want to give you just a little taste of what this is like, and just say hi. So, Johnny, hi.
Hello. You caught me eating celebration cookies that somebody sent. So this is part of how we got treated. Oh, you can right there.
I forgot the microphone.
And you forgot the microphone. Now we're here eating celebration cookies that were sent. There's a whole story attached to it, but we don't have to give that story right now. But welcome. So we're telling them that they can still register. It's last minute, but they can register. Is that what we're telling them?
Yeah. Why do you think people should be a part of what we're doing? Why would they take the time and even the finances to register and participate?
Well, it's going to be amazing, super worth it. And particularly for the time and season we're in, everything related to government and the economy really affects everyone. Some of you are specifically called in a big way. Some of you called in a supporting way. And we're going through so much change right now in the world. In fact, governments and economy are being overhauled as never before. And so this is just a good time. Yeah. If you're feeling the Lord, it's not even if you feel like you're called to either mountain, but if He's pricking your heart, go ahead and take advantage. And this is just going to be amazing. We have amazing speakers. We got some in the room here. We got Devin Burke. I mean, this guy is he's amazing. He's going to be speaking here. Tell about him. Great.
These are dear friends of ours. This is Devin and Shirley Burke, and they live in LA area. And we met you guys like it was at least 5 years ago when we moved to California, and they came to our original Rise intensives, and that's when we would take like an entire 4-day weekend to talk about just one mountain. We've gotten it down to 2 mountains in a day and a half. Anyway, but Devin and Shirley are in business, and Devin's actually one of the speakers for this event. And I just want to say up front why we're charging for this. It's a good question. Some people ask, and it's something that we don't do lightly. The reason why is, number one, if we were a church, we would for sure not have you register or pay anything. We're not a church. We are a nonprofit. So we are supporting ourselves here with donations and trying to steward well over what God's given us. But even more than that, we feel like we bring heaven to earth, not just by what we do, but how we do it. And how we do it has to be with so much excellence and with a spirit of honor. And so our way of honoring our the audience or the people that are being equipped is to give them our very best. That's the best technology, the best speakers, the best worship, whatever it is. And that requires finances. It just does. And so we have made some scholarships available, but those that are willing and able to pay, we're also knowing that it is it's a specific type of person that we are trying to reach and awaken and equip. And that is followers of Jesus who know they were called to change the world. And we want to model for you, even in how we do our events, a different way. And you're going to hear some of that throughout this event the next day and a half. But anyway, so back to having some more fun. Justice, our daughter, is also one of the speakers. And can you come over? We're back in the green room, which is actually a kindergarten nursery room for this church that we're in, Eagle Mountain. And so we found the most anointed room in the building, right? So Justice is speaking tomorrow. Tell them your topic.
Social justice, differences between social justice and real justice as the Bible defines it. So hopefully it's all going to come together and land.
It is.
It will.
the more you do it, the more you get used
Yeah.
to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's not just a pretty face. She actually has some really important things to say. And so we're excited about hearing from you. And out of the speakers that you know that are going to speak, who are you looking forward to hearing?
That's a hard question. I mean, you and Dad for sure. I'm not being biased. I mean, I guess I am a little bit, but I'm serious. And then also, I'm really excited about Ed Rush actually, because I read his book like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago when I was first getting into pageants, and it really was encouraging for me in what I was doing. So it'll be really interesting.
Yeah, so we're going to go talk to Ed Rush here in just a second if you're still hanging with us. Christopher, this is, I was just telling Chris, I said, the way I feel about showing off my daughters when I go places, I actually feel the same way about you. I like showing off my handsome son-in-laws. Anyway, Chris and I are hosting together. So you want to say hi to everybody?
Hello. If you guys are not planning on it, you should definitely join. It's going to be awesome. We're very excited about this event, and it's closing off all of the Rise events that we've been doing over the last year. So it's going to be really great. We're very excited about it.
Yes. And we have announcements that we're going to be making throughout the event. So even if you can't make the event, to watch it live, you can still register. And then in about a week, they'll send you an email where you can access the replay to it, plus more content than we even have available for the people attending. So you'll definitely get your money's worth in that. Yeah. All right. Yeah, you guys got to meet Veronica. Veronica, come here. Yes, I am. I want her to tell you about a miracle that just happened in her life.
On my back?
Yes.
Hi,
I love her
everybody.
so much. Veronica is part of the reason why, if it ever looks like we're doing anything right, is she's behind the scenes working super hard. And Veronica is also bilingual. So she has a whole reach into the Hispanic community that, Johnny has such a passion for with his background. And so this past week, when I needed her the most, she ended up in the ER. Tell me what happened.
So I had back surgery a long time ago, and on Monday I woke up with excruciating pain. Had to go to the emergency room. So I was referred to a chiropractor, and in 3 days, I'm here walking and dancing, and I was praying. I was like, God, I know that you want me in that event. I know that you're going to make a miracle. And he did. Once again, he does. It comes through.
Yes. Okay. All right. We're going to go. Yes, we're going to head this way. You're going to follow me. All right. And we are going to meet Ed Rush and see who all is slowly showing up, because we're starting. Is it in about an hour? Half an hour. Okay. Here he is, Ed Rush.
Are we live? Should I talk into this right here?
Yes.
What's up, Elizabeth? How are you? Are we taking a tour?
Well, a little bit of a tour. So my daughter, Justice, you don't even know this. She was just telling everyone that, she was the longest reigning Miss Tennessee.
Really?
She was. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And she gave up her title about a year ago, but because of the whole COVID thing, they made her wait longer than normal to crown the next person. And she was just sharing with everyone that she read your book about 5 years ago. And it really inspired her to just go for it and to do the thing that she felt the most passionate about at the time. And that was, for her, it was pageants. And
cool.
She hung with it until she actually won. And so this is the Ed Rush that she was talking about. And Ed is one of our keynote speakers. He's actually speaking tonight.
Yeah, in like 40 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Like that, right? So,
can you give him a little teaser?
Yeah, I can give him a little teaser. By the way, I want to say something about that book. So your son-in-law, Chris, just told me that story not more than 7 minutes ago.
Oh, cool.
And he said, yeah, my wife, Justice, read your book. And I said, did she read the book after she found out I was speaking here? He said, no, she read it years ago. And I was like, man, I love hearing stories like that. And it's kind of cool when you're a creator to hear stories of lives that were transformed. So it's cool.
True.
So I'm going on stage in, 38 minutes. Okay, so set your watch. If you're not, is everyone listening enrolled already, or are they thinking about it? Okay,
no.
You're not enrolled. What's the link? So right below or on the side? Okay, so now's the time, because you're not going to want to miss this beginning. All right, so the beginning is either going to be a rocket ship into the air or a spaceship or something really amazing. But what I'm going to talk about in the beginning is I'm going to talk about how to think about yourself like God thinks about you, okay? Which is, by the way, a lot better than you think, okay? It's always a lot better. And how to actually physically recode your brain so that you can actually think God's thoughts after you and bring in the kind of success or prosperity or abundance that you've been wanting in your life. And the cool thing is so you have a mission that God's given you, like amazing, powerful mission. There's no plan B. He's given it to you.
Yep.
And when you accomplish your mission, it makes it easier for me to accomplish mine and for Elizabeth to accomplish hers, for Johnny to accomplish hers, and Chris, who's behind the camera, to accomplish this. So you have to do it. And what I'm going to be talking about in a short 40 minutes is to show you how to hear what God has to say about you and your mission, how to retrain your brain so that you think properly, and then you begin to attract what should be coming to you anyway. So we're going to have some fun.
And this is what you've put into practice in your own life.
Yeah,
I mean, this is what you've lived, and
this is my
it
story.
works.
Yeah, I mean, it took me into the airplane. I flew fighters for years, flying F-18s. Thank you. Yeah, I would say, people say thank you for your service, and I would say, well, thank you for paying your taxes because you paid for all the gas.
Wow.
And
True.
so thank you.
We did.
You did. So yeah, it took me.
You were
to
the one
F-18.
risking your life.
Well. And interestingly, like when you look at what happens in the cockpit, it's a lot of thinking really fast with no time for distractions. And that's part of what our mission is too, right? Think clearly, think quickly, but also no distractions. Like get on with what God has you to do and have a blast doing it. So
this is so important, you guys, because you can know what you're called to do, but not know how to do it. And what we are attempting to do in these events is give you really practical not just information, but practical tools so that you're equipped to do what God created you to do.
Can I say something about that?
Please do.
Super important what you just said, and I want to just kind of stay there for a minute. So, as believers, we really crave and sometimes crave that prophetic, where we're like, all right, we want to hear what God says or is God's direction. But if you think about it, like if you take it, for example, go back to the Old Testament, right? So David was talking to God and said, should I attack this army? And God said, yeah, go up. And he said, should I go this way or should I go this way? God said, no, go around. And when you hear them walking through the trees, then I want you to do this. And then David went and executed it. Now, in between hearing that and destroying that Philistine army, David had to meet with his commanders, separate his troops, put them in place, give them all specific orders that God hadn't given him.
Yeah.
But as a king, he was in charge of strategically placing all those people. And sometimes as believers, we hear something amazing from God, and then we never accomplish it because we haven't put the strategy in place. So what you just said is really important, which is you need to know what God's directing you to do, but then you need to know how to do it. And a lot of times it's a different group of people. Like sometimes you're hearing from prophetic people, and then the next group of people you might need to hear from are strategic people.
That's right.
And that's really a lot of the teachers this weekend are the strategy people. I know that's what I do.
Even as you're saying that, I was just thinking about, the first time we did this a year ago, just to be honest with you, we had a lot more people register and be a part of this than we've had for this one. And actually for the subsequent ones. The first one, the only speakers that we had were from the Mountain of Religion. So Kat Kerr, Steve Schultz, many voices that you know and love, and we know and love from our Mountain of Religion, from the church. But Johnny and I have such a passion to bring to you voices and strategy from people that are actually on the front lines where you are, in the areas of culture that you show up in every single day. And I can't imagine not hearing the strategy that God's given you.
Right.
I mean, we've had this traditional way of thinking that, if you're really intimate with God, if you're really mature spiritually, then you leave your fighter pilot background behind and you go into ministry full time and you just get behind a pulpit and preach. And think of how many people we have missed out on because we didn't realize that God was speaking just as powerfully, just as prophetic revelation as God gives Johnny, right? He gives the same level to those that are on the front lines and those that are equipping us in these specific areas of culture.
It's really true. I was on that direction. So I was on my way to being a pastor. I even enrolled in seminary And how do I say this?
Wow.
How do I say this?
Just say it.
Gently. So God has a very clever way of thwarting your purposes if they're not his.
It's true.
He's done that with me about 1,000 times, and I was so frustrated too. And I wrote, by the way, I wrote a Christian book that completely failed, and I was like, why, God? Like, and what I realized is what you just said, which is now I do these big events, and people from all walks of life, atheists, and Buddhists, and Hindus, and New Age people, and Christians, and skeptics, and people who pretend to believe something, but they don't know what to believe. And I would have never had that ability to minister to people like that, and literally teach atheists how to hear God's voice.
Yep.
I would have never been able to do that if I had followed the path that I thought that I was supposed to go down instead of the one that God's had for me. Built this great business, wrote some very successful books after the one that didn't, and made a lot of money, and it's all because of going in the direction that
you were called to.
So just if God's thwarting you, just make a right-hand turn and see what's
so good. Well, we're excited about hearing from you soon
awesome.
in just a little bit. And if you hear some loud noise in the background, it smells so good in here because they have a coffee shop that
this is mine. They just made me this beautiful and it's like almost 4 p.m. here in Bend, so I figure I'll be up till like 2 or 3 in the morning after.
All right. Well, we're going to give you a quick peek at the sanctuary. I just want you to know, do you think we could find Bobby or Becky? Meet the pastors of the house. We're going to go try to find the pastors of this house of worship here.
All right, so long.
Bye, Ed. Thank you so much.
Yep.
I'm going to take this mic from you. Okay. Here we go, you guys. We are looking for... Oh, your wife is playing piano right now. I can already feel the presence of God in here. I just want to go ahead and introduce you to someone who is playing piano. In fact, I think if you're already registered, you can go ahead and hop online and use your registration link. Go on and hop in, and then you can hear Alice Binky. She is playing prophetically from the piano right now. She has an amazing story of just how God led her into this place of using the talent that she has to just align herself with the presence of God. And so if you're already registered, go ahead and jump in and you can hear from her. Okay, I want to introduce you to Becky Hoppy.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Good.
So I was just bragging on you guys a little bit. We just love Eagle Mountain and everything that is Bobby and Becky Hobby. They are the senior pastors, leaders of this church, but it's really... Whenever I think of reforming the mountain of religion, because we both know it needs just as much reformation as the other areas of culture, we're still growing as the body of Christ very much. And they are doing church so out of the box here. Can you explain to them what it's like to be a part of the Apostolic Resource Center that you guys have? And what's different about how y'all do it? And I'm going to let you hold this.
Thanks. One of the things that we really believe in is that, God's given us a design to do something with Him, to co-partner with Him. And instead of just coming into a place where there's nothing that's being really produced, or we're not posturing ourselves in our communities and in the places that God has given to us, we have come into this, agreement, even with the officials in our city, that we're going to be a resource to them, along with resources to other ministries in town, regionally, nationally, and even globally. And so it's putting apostolic feet to prophetic hope. And we call it the ARC, the Apostolic Resource Center, because that's what we really are about. It's resourcing God's beloved people, and so that they can do what they need to do.
And that's what I love about y'all's hearts. You and Bobby and the leadership you've raised up around you is that you truly exist to serve the body of Christ that gets out of the four walls of the church all week long.
Yeah.
And you've made an impact in the city here.
Yeah.
You also have impacted us as a ministry, and we are so grateful because they're willing to serve us. Like they have created a company called Kingdom Learning, so that's where you've gone to register for this event.
Yeah.
And Kingdom Learning produces events like this, and more than that, like it's they've taken it to a whole nother level because there's intercession behind it.
Yeah.
They show up with a heart to honor the people that they're serving, that they're equipping, and then they think long term. So they have this whole library full of e-courses that they create and then steward over. So it's not just a once and done kind
Right.
of conference, and that's why I call it an event and not a conference,
Right.
because it really is about equipping you guys. And you know, the team that you have around here, their hearts are to serve and to love and to honor, and we just get the overflow of that. So we're grateful for you guys.
We're grateful for you too. And we're so grateful that you guys are watching and joining online. And you know, it's not, like you said, it is not just a one and done. If you're watching right now, you still have time to come and be a part of it digitally. But then also, if you're watching this at another time, you're still going to be able to go and be a part of it. And I'll tell you what, the coolest thing is, and we've seen this time and time again, and especially with the events that we do with you guys, they're evergreen. There's always new revelation coming out of them. God is always like highlighting something new in them. And so it is such a good investment, a great investment into who we are and how we're going to impact those that God is putting right before us.
Yep. Awesome. Well said. Well, love you guys. And again, consider registering. We're going to hop back on here live with you in just a little bit, but we'll say goodbye for now.
Awesome. Thanks.